What's up, YouTube? All right, so video number 2 for the week. Still working on the wagon, trying to get things taken care of. I am doing something a little different than what I was originally going to do. It's a little bit more sketch, but I feel confident that I can make it work. I was going to take the block to a machinist and have it cleaned and machined and all that other stuff, and it was a lot of money that I feel like I didn't want to spend for the first iteration, so I'm not going to do it. I'm doing it myself. So I'll show you the block in another video. I did some initial cleaning on it and I'm feeling pretty okay about it. What I'm going to show you in today's video is I'm going to show you, kind of explain to you how I'm cleaning the pistons and the crank. So I'm polishing the crank myself and I'm cleaning the pistons myself. So the way I'm doing that, so we'll start with the pistons. So what I'm doing with the pistons is I've got them all taken out, put them in little plastic bags or whatever, and they're all pretty darn crusty. I'm not gonna touch that because like it's really gross, but you can kind of see even through the plastic. Like, they're pretty crusty, most of them. What I've got is I've got a can of Chem Dip, right down here. It's chemical dip. Look, I spilled some on the floor. Same stuff you would use to clean a carburetor. Works really good on pistons. So these are just the stock pistons out of the 5.3. And this one is what it looks like, what they come out as after they've been in the Chem Dip. And it's really works really well. This one I actually left in kind of overnight. And it's yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I still kind of go through and clean up a little bit more in the ringlands and stuff, but and for that, you know, I have like a little screwdriver that I use, and I have an old ring that I actually use and kind of get in the groove. I can kind of get it in the grooves and scrape all the gunk out of there. And hey, this is probably the wrong way to do it, so don't do it this way, but this is just the way that I've kind of looked. Part of this I did see on the internet. There was a guy on YouTube, because I looked it up, and he did his pistons this way, and so I'm like, you know, why not? I mean, it works, you know, whatever. If it works, it works. So that's what I'm doing with that. And then with the crank, and I'll do some time lapse show you guys with the crank. This is still in the process, but you can see, and I'll put a video, I'll put a picture up here of what it looked like before. So that's what it looked like before, and now this is kind of halfway through the process. And this is something else that I got off the internet, off of, you know, YouTube U. And what I'm doing, and I'll show this to you in a little bit more detail when I get it set up, because I'll be kind of doing it in between pistons while the pistons are soaking. But what I've done, or how I'm doing it, is I'm taking wet dry sandpaper. So I have 80 grit, I have 15 grit, and I have 3000 grit of wet dry, just regular like sanding paper, okay? And I take that and I cut it in strips like this, and then I take some paracord, and like I said, I'll demonstrate this in a second. I soak the sandpaper with penetrating oil, WD-40, whatever, and then I wrap it around the journal, the bearing journal, and I wrap this around it, and then I can pull on each side, and I can just, like, you know, basically sand it. And I started with 80, and then I went to 1500, which is where it's at now. And now I'm going to do, the next I'm going to do 3000. And then when I'm done with the 3000, to finish it off, I have some Brasso right here, which is just basically metal polishing liquid or whatever. And I'm going to finish it up with this and like a little cloth, right? So I'll show you how that turns out later on in this video, but that's it for right now. Let's get to work. I'll start a time lapse and show you guys kind of what I'm doing. Okay, so this is how I'm doing the crank, right? So you can see the crank here. I'm going back to what I was at, which was with the 1500 for a minute. I may have to go back. There's a little bit of you can barely see it. There's a little bit of line on this one. So I want to do a little bit more. Everything else looks pretty good from the 1500 to the 3000. They're most of them ready for the 3000X. But anyway, so I have the sandpaper cut in a strip that fits right around the journal like that. And basically, let me get this attached here real quick. So basically what I do is I take it like that. So I take some WD-40 Specialist rust release. You can probably do just about anything. You can probably just use like regular WD-40 or whatever, but I'm just using that. So I take and I spray a little bit on here, and I spray a little bit on the journal, and then I wrap it around the journal like this, overlap it a little bit, and then I take my string and I wrap it around that a couple of times, like so, right? And then it takes a little bit for it to get going because it's like dry paper, but then I just do that and it just spins the paper back and forth. You got to kind of get it going right. And yeah, so it takes a little bit of finagling sometimes to get it going, and a little bit more penetrating oil because it's dry still. And you know, it eventually, there we go, it's going back and forth, and I just stand here and do this for a whole bunch of time. So anyway, I'm gonna do, so that kind of goes through how I do it, how I'm doing it. Seems to be working pretty well. We'll find out. Now I'm gonna do a little time lapse and show you guys kind of the process, and I'll be back. So I don't know if that time lapse worked out very well because it was shaking the table, but if it did, great. So I've been working on this for a couple hours now, maybe about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and I got the next phase done. I'm going to take a little break and work on a piston, but let me show you where we're at now after the 3000 grit paper. So here we are. They're still a little dirty. I haven't really cleaned them with like brake clean or whatever, but just gonna wipe them off. They're all pretty. That one's really still pretty gritty, but you know, they're all getting kind of polished. I mean, this is because I don't have the money to take it to a machine shop. Got to do it myself. Sometimes you got to just try it and see. I'm not gonna make this. This isn't gonna be a super high horsepower motor yet. When I build the engine, it's going to be 1,000 horsepower. I will do it correctly. Don't judge me. I mean, or judge me, and that's fine. Put your comments below. What do you think I'm doing? You think I'm screwing it up? Is it going to blow up? Is it going to work? We'll see. It's a risk that I'm willing to take because I don't have too many. I mean, I have other options, but you know, even if I bought LS off of Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever, they're more expensive. Like people are like, because of the demand, like people are jacking up the prices, and I'm not going to pay $1,500 for a running 5.3 that I'll still have to tear apart and go through, because I want to make sure that it's running, and it will run for a while. This way, I'm still going to go through this. I'm not taking the block to the machine shop to have that cylinder fixed. I just honed it out, and it looks pretty okay. I think it's going to work, but I decided to save the money because I already have the rings for the stock block. I have the stock rings and all that other stuff, the stock pistons. So instead of spending extra money buying new pistons and new rings and stuff like that, because I have the engine board out, I'm just gonna put it together as is and send it and see what happens. So anyway, I'm gonna work on the piston. I'll do maybe a little bit more time lapse while I'm working on the piston, and then see where we're at. Hey guys, so it's the next day, and I did a lot of cleaning and polishing yesterday, and the crank turned out pretty good. It's kind of looks like that. I know the lighting's not very good right now, right here, but pretty shiny, pretty good. They're all, like, you can still see some like little marks in there, but it's not, they're all really smooth. Like, you can't feel anything. So, good enough for me for now, because with the stuff that I've got, on my phone, because the GoPro just died. I want to just finish up this video and show you guys kind of what is going on. That clip, I just showed you the crank. Sorry, it's early. Needs more tea. Just showed you the crank, and it came out really well, as far as I'm concerned. It's not perfect, but hey, we're not going for perfection. We're going for budget and what I can do with what I've got. So, and I kind of showed you that process. I didn't show you the very end part of it, which is fine. Let me turn you guys around. Basically the end process was using a rag like this. I cut it up into strips, and I used this Brasso and just polished it up for the final polish. And now I'm pulling out the final piston. Now, final piston, I say, because it's actually number 8. I may have to re-dunk some of these pistons. But this one's been in since yesterday. So this one's been in for almost over 8 hours in the chemical dip. And I'm trying to pull it out without making too much of a mess with one hand, vlogging stuff. Hang on here. There's the cap. And I just got to pull the piston, dump all that goop out of it, because I don't want to get it all over the table. Come on, come on. The struggle is real. Okay, here we go. Now this piston was pretty bad. And you can see there's still a little bit of stuff on it, but so much better. Top is still pretty bad, because this was probably like one of the worst ones as far as like gunk on it. But that stuff will come off pretty easily, even with just a little bit of oh, my hands are all goopy. Oh crap, dang it. All right. The cleaner fell down. So anyway, I'm going to end this video here. This is the cleaning video. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to continue to clean a little bit. I think I have the block cleaned pretty much, like initially. Like understand that when I say cleaned, I mean just like primary cleaning, like the initial cleaning. Before I assemble everything, I'm going to clean again, obviously. And it's still going to be sketchy, but you know, again, that's what we're here for. So I'll show you like a little bit of. I'll take some pictures of the finished cleaned pistons, and now I'm going to probably put next. I'm probably going to put I'll put the main caps in the chemical dip and let them sit and soak, and miscellaneous bolts and stuff that I'm going to reuse. I want to clean them up, but pretty much everything else is going to be new. I have all of these. I have all of this wonderful stuff that I was going through, taking kind of inventory. You can see some of the labels there going on. Deciding what I need, because some of it is not complete. I do have like all the bearings and stuff like that, except I am going to replace the cam bearings myself, which should be interesting, but they're really rough looking, so I don't feel like I don't want to, and I looked at them, right? You're not supposed to look at them, you're just like supposed to redo it, but I looked at them, so and I can see they're really rough, so I can replace them for reasonably, not super a lot of money, and I can get the tool and just do it myself. This is not the first engine. This is not the last engine. This is the first engine, but not the last engine I'm going to rebuild, because I like doing this stuff and I want to get better at it. This first time is going to be, like I said, sketchy, but hopefully it'll work. We'll see. I'll bring you guys along with that. Anyway, that's it for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know. Roast me. I don't care. Just tell me what your opinion is of what I'm doing. And don't forget the merch. If you want to buy some merch, help me out. Support the channel and support the builds by buying some merch. That would be great. And speaking of merch, let me know, at least, even if you don't buy anything, go to Etsy, check it out. Tell me if it's too expensive, like, because I'm not really sure. And, I want to make, some money. And the way I have it, I'm making a couple of dollars per item, but I might need to find a different way to get my merch. Right now I'm using Printful and Etsy. So Printful is print on demand, and they do it just when you order it, they'll make it and they'll send it to you. So I don't have to touch it and I don't have to worry about it, but I think it's more expensive. So just let me know, and let me know if you have any ideas of how I could do it better. If the designs suck, whatever, just, any feedback is really, really appreciated. That's it. See you later. Ciao.